Guys, I am back with another video. I'm so sorry that I've been away, but my life has been truly insane crazy. I am working and going to grad school at the same time and trying to keep up with this YouTube channel and trying to have some sort of social life, so please forgive me. But I needed to make a video because I've just completed my midterms, and in order to celebrate that, in order to treat myself, I watched Skate America, and I need to talk about it because guys, you still are my only outlet for figure skating, and when I want to talk about figure skating, I come to you guys. Also, I thought I could cover Lombardia Trophy, which was a competition that a lot of people asked me if I was going to cover it because it was so eventful, and I watched it. So here's my coverage of Lombardia Trophy and Skate America. Let's start with Lombardia Trophy because it occurred a while ago and it had a lot of important players. I'm only going to be covering the men and the ladies as per usual. I'm sorry, but this is the only discipline that I'm going to be covering. So in third place at Lombardia Trophy, we had the one, the only, the beautiful Kaori Sakamoto. First thing that I thought was she's blonde, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't love this blonde on her. Specifically this shade of blonde I don't think looks good on her. Also, I did not like that red in contrast with the blonde. I don't know, something was just not clicking. And I had heard that this competition had not been a great outing for Kaori, so I came in scared and fearing the worst. But the short program was actually fine. If anything, it was a bit bland and forgetful for me. The music itself has a lot of tension building, but I found that the performance could not match it. She was a bit slow at times, but mostly I found that the program irritated me mostly because it was a mismatch with the persona that Kaori is, at least the public skater persona that she has built herself. It just did not feel on brand. Although a lot of that could just be the blonde. For the free program, I liked the dress way more, and the hints of gold within the black almost tricked me into liking the blonde hair. But when the music started, I could not believe it. Chicago? When did Kaori's persona all of a sudden become a theatrical, campy skater instead of a lyrical, feminine powerhouse that she is? Like, why would you ever give Kaori Sakamoto Chicago? Like, why are they giving her this kitschy music and concept when she is a world-class skater known for her powerful jumps, femininity, and lyrical abilities? Like, I don't know. To me, I was just like, what the hell is happening? Did anyone else feel like, why would you ever give her Chicago? It just felt too like, when Kaori is none of that. Just none of that. I don't know. For me, like, this music just feels very juniorish, very musical play, very like assembly. And Kaori is an experienced Olympian. I feel like it drags her down in my eyes in terms of the fact that it doesn't highlight her skills, her experience, and her status. I don't know, maybe I'm taking this a little bit too far and too personally. But in my opinion, both of the programs do not match Kaori's persona at all. And her free skate specifically detracts from what I love about Kaori, which is her strength, her femininity, and her skating skills. And the concept in the music is half the battle in skating, and I could not get on board with this one. That being said, Kaori did give it her all in the performance. She was giving face. She was selling us on this music. She was giving us Chicago in terms of her performance. However, in the home stretch, she did have a fall. The two things that I noticed most at this competition with Kaori was that she was slower than usual, and her jumps seemed to miss a lot of height, which is why I think she wasn't getting enough air for her spins and ultimately led her to having that fall. However, these are just the issues that come with stamina and are very common at the beginning of the season. And as her training intensifies and her body becomes more regulated, and I'm forgetting what the word is, but more in sync with her training and just, the intensity of the season, her endurance and power are going to get better. So it's nothing worrying. It was not the best performance, but there's nothing to fear besides the song choices when it comes to Kaori. In second place, we had a new name, Sarah Everhart. And this is a completely new name for me. She is only 18 years old and she is American. And I genuinely don't think I've ever heard this name before. So I am very happy to see new talent on the podium. Like, this girl beat a huge world skater like Kaori Sakamoto. So I'm excited to see where this girl goes. Because anytime there is more competition, I get excited because it can mean great growth for the sport if they continue to pop off and then proliferate the sport. With her short program, she did very well. I liked the costume with its green high neck design, but coupled with the music, it was like given Enya slash elf slash like fairy frolicking in the woods. Like it was very LARPy. Like it was giving Ren Fair in maybe not the best way possible. Something I did notice is that Sarah looks quite tall, so the fact that she has found stability in her jumps is very commendable. I will say though, she is a bit stiff in her movement and that has to be worked on. And I also couldn't tell if the stiffness was a choice due to the fact that her music was very Irish inspired. However, in the free is where she truly shined, at least for me. Her first jump was just so well executed and had such tremendous height that she impressed me. Not to mention the beautiful red dress that she was wearing. And she continued to have stable jumps all throughout the free program. But to me, what stuck out the most was her determination. Like this is a girl that you can tell just practices a lot, day in and day out. But to become a well-rounded skater, a world-class, well-known name, she really needs to work on her movement and her facial expressions. She needs to loosen up a bit. She needs to work on the artistic side a little bit more. The entirety of her program, she just has this look of concentration, which makes her look a bit detached from the music. And her movements are definitely stiff, and it was not a choice for the short program. However, I am very excited to see where Sarah goes and if she continues to podium at any future competitions. Then in first place, we have the second love of my life, Amber Glenn. And Amber gave me everything I wanted and more. She gave me face, she gave me body, she gave me costume that I loved, she gave me a concept that matched her personality perfectly. It was just everything. It was perfect. And the speed that she had was insane. Also, every jump in her short program was flawless and executed with such strength that I couldn't look away. She gave us also a one-handed cartwheel. You know I love a cartwheel. I am telling you, Amber Glenn is just star quality, and this short program left me pumped up for her free. In her free program, can we just talk about the dress? First, we just need to talk about this dress. It is a lilac, it is purple, it fits her perfectly, it is beautiful and magical, and she looks amazing in it. And she started so strong in the free with her first few jumps, and then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, she popped a jump. And that's when I started to get nervous, because a mistake like that can easily snowball and shake the skater, especially when it comes to Amber Glenn, who is mostly a mental game. And if one mistake can throw her off, it will. But Amber used the choreo break to calm and collect herself. And the next two jumps were landed perfectly until we all got too comfortable and she fell out of a jump. At this point, my heart was in my throat because why can't we have nice things? I am genuinely wishing with everything in my body that Amber finishes this free program strong. And while she doesn't continue to land flawless jumps, she does land them, finishing with a technically clean program. Amber's content this season has truly the potential of making her the it girl if she continues to skate clean. And that's a big if, because we know Amber Glenn. Also, who the hell was this man who walked in front of the camera seconds before Amber got her scores? Because that was crazy and rude. But yes, I loved Amber Glenn. She was my favorite overall. She was like Goldilocks in terms that she gave me a program that matched her. It had camp. It had music that I liked. She gave me everything I needed. She corrected everything that I misjudged or disliked from the other previous skaters, but at the same time, she could not give me the consistency that we want from our number one skater. So as long as she works on that, I think this season is the one for her because her content is great. Moving on to the men. For the men, in third place, we have Shun Sato from Japan, who had a beautiful short program, except for the moment where he almost ran into the boards. I literally had to go back to, I'm like, did he almost just run into the boards? He did. In his free, though, he had a perfect opening jump, only for it to be followed by a pop with a botched landing. Like the back of his skate got cut in the ice and he had to he came to a full stop and had to start over. But Shun managed to recover especially via his choreography, because he has beautiful movements and beautiful performance skills, as do most Japanese men with their impeccable skating skills. But the one mistake that he had kind of already jeopardized his opportunity to rank higher on the podium because of the strong competition, leaving him in third place. In second place, we had Yuma Kageyama, who, ever since Yuzu and Shoma retired, has become the undisputable top dog in the men's discipline for Japan. However, Yuma decided to start this competition by scaring the shit out of me, as his opening jump during the short program had a step out which almost became a fall, but he recovered swiftly. He was very close to having a clean skate, but fumbled in that opening jump, making me and him stressed for the free. And then in the free program, he decided to stay consistent by almost blundering during his first jump, having to save the landing with a hand touch. And while he once again recovered swiftly and landed his subsequent jumps, this time he continued to struggle with the landing of other jumps throughout the program. Basically, he was making me nervous the entire time. I hope that this is just some residual nervousness or adjustment that he has to make on his jumping technique or his mental game rather than some injury, because Yoma fairly recently came back from break due to injury. So I'm hoping that he can just kind of readjust himself. This is some beginning of the season nerves and has nothing to do with his actual body. The fact that he's wobbling and stumbling with some jumps. Also, love seeing Carolina with him, and I truly believe that this partnership will bring positive change, just like Shoma Uno found with Stefan. Finally, in first place, we have Ilia Malinin, who for the short program, I am not a fan of this costume, if we can even call it that. Also, I love that he chose a softer song, but still had to bro it up with a rap and some bro hand movements in there. But you can't fight with his technique because his jumps were so powerful as per usual. But they were so powerful that to me, they started to look a little bit painful in the landing. He lands so crazy strong, and that if he lands on the wrong side of his blade, he could really injure his ankle. So I really hope that he's taking care of himself. And the program obviously included his signature choreographical jump, which he just kind of looks like he's flipping in the air, and he had a very unique ending pose. Overall, I really liked his short program. For his free, I was shocked to see that he was actually wearing a costume, like a real male figure skating costume, and it's the most bling and commitment that I've ever seen from him in terms of presentation. And then when the music began, these surprises continued, because I was emo music? Emo Ilia? And then I was wait, why is this working so well? And then I realized that while Kaori might not be the theatric campy type, Ilia is literally perfect for this because of his exaggerated erratic movements and his crazy skills for landing. They lend themselves so well to this style of music and this theatrical presentation, and I'm so happy that he's exploring with different genres and different concepts, because that is how we discover that this teen is great at emotional campy programs. So during his free, his jumps were top notch as expected, until suddenly Ilia had a bad landing, saving it from falling in the last millisecond. However, he recovered by nailing every jump thereafter and fully throwing himself into the choreography. Again, the most commitment I've seen from him in a minute. And I have never seen Ilia even try to commit himself with a real costume as well. So I'm very excited about this program. And just when I think that the surprises are over, Ilia does a backflip. Just for the hell of it, he just does a backflip. And if you don't know, backflips are actually banned and penalized within figure skating. So to do a backflip at a competition, you must be very secure in your skills and that you can do it without jeopardizing your chance at the podium. Obviously, Ilia did not care, did not worry, because he walked away with gold, backflip and all. And he ends the program lying down on the ice, which, if I'm not mistaken, is also penalized. But Ilia, regardless, walks away with gold, so obviously these two movements did not affect his scoring at all. And I'm very excited for Ilia, specifically because of this program, which is very exciting, very unique, and I can't wait to see his growth throughout the season with it. as a performer, and possibly a viral moment that might come from the campiness that is within this program. Now we can move on to the reason why y'all came here, Skate America. In 5th place for the ladies, we have Brady Tennell, who I was only able to find her show program, but from what I can see, she didn't do badly at this competition at all. It was just that she was having a lot of strong competition. So when it came to her program, comparatively, she just wasn't going to make it on the podium. Hopefully, she continues to stay strong and is consistent throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully, she can make it to a podium. In 4th place, we have Nina Pizzarrone from Belgium. She had a great show program with a beautiful dress to accompany it. The program itself is very like Black Swan adjacent and darker than what Nina usually skates to, and I think she executed it beautifully. Like, it really matched her vibe, and she managed to show that other side of her. It gave us range. I liked it. Then in the free, she did more of like an interpretive dance style program, and although I liked it less than the show program, Nina still had a great outing and a clean program. Nina is truly an all-around skater. She has great movement, she is consistent with her jumps, and she is technically proficient. The problem is just that the competition is just as proficient with their jumps, if not more. In my opinion, she just has to up the program difficulty in order to place on the podium, because she's always right off of it, as she leaves in this competition in 4th place. In 3rd place, we have Isabel Levito, whose dress is very unique by implementing a pearl necklace into the actual straps and body of the dress. Isabel gladly decided to go back to her roots of a balletic lyrical piece, and I have to say that it just works for her. I'm sorry, but this is just the one that works for her. We haven't found another concept that works for her as good as this. And her jumps, I am happy to report, were stable, at least in the short. And I love that halfway through, she decided to inject the program with a little bit of playfulness as the music switches to almost like sitcom style music, as she follows this trend of like campy songs, and it works for her. She made it somehow like still elegant and sophisticated, and Isabel really sells it when the music switch with her expressions. It's giving a lot of like WandaVision, if you catch my vibes. Then for the free, she continued with her lyrical balletic music, but this time her costume resembled another dainty queen, as she went from Audrey Hepburn to now a Tinkerbell looking dress, which I wasn't mad at. Her jumps continued to be stable, but then I saw her stumble a bit during a combination jump, and I immediately got nervous because we know how Isabel is. And as it turns out, I was right, because a few moments later, she completely fell out of a jump, but she did recover in the next few jump passes. Thankfully, Isabel was able to put that mistake behind her and finish strong. And I have to commend her, because at other times, we have seen one mistake completely derail the rest of her performance. So overall, I really liked both of Isabel's programs, and if she manages to skate them cleanly, I think she will have a strong season, and there's no reason why she wouldn't podium. In 2nd place, we have Rinka Watanabe from Japan, who, for her short program, she is skating to a song I only know as a meme, so I have to admit that I giggled a little bit when I heard it. It's like the one where you use whenever like anyone's sad. So for her to use that song in a serious manner, it took me a second to like believe it. Besides that, the short program went off without a hitch. She had a beautiful and strong short program. Then for her free, she chose a more sensual song choice and wore one glove, which immediately made me wonder, are we getting a cartwheel? There's only one reason to get one glove, and it's usually a cartwheel. Sadly, we didn't get it. But while the first jumps were stable, halfway through the program, Rinka had an unstable landing, which almost turned into a fall. But she saved it at the last second by putting her foot down prematurely. Thankfully, Rinka didn't let this mistake rattle her, as she finished the rest of the program clean and with powerful, stable jumps. But we know that Rinka has always been a strong skater. However, mistakes like this can get into someone's head, so I commend her for not letting it shake her. Also, I'm happy to see that she skated almost 100% clean at this competition, because that always hasn't been the case for Rinka. So hopefully she can keep it up. Finally, in 1st place, we have the incomparable Wakaba Higuchi, who showed up looking like a warrior princess for her short program. I absolutely love this costume. It is so unique and it is so beautiful, and it matches the music perfectly. And just like her costume, Wakaba slayed her short program with with her signature powerful jumps and impeccable technique. She literally didn't have a single flaw. Then for her free program, Wakaba had another beautiful costume. Like, can we just give Wakaba her props? She always has the best dresses and always has impeccable presentation. Like, you can never catch her looking ugly or having an ugly dress. One thing I did notice though is that for the short and the free program, the music is very similar. They both give like trailer music for a dystopian future movie. It's giving like in a world, but like in a dystopian world kind of vibes. And I don't know if I'm particularly into it. And while I didn't love either program, I am excited to root for Wakaba this season and just see how she like makes it and if she continues to give us perfect performances like this one. Because with Wakaba, it has either been injury or just random inconsistency, which never made sense to me because she just has it. So she should always be on the podium. And here she was in first place. Then we have the men. And I am sad to say that in last place we have one of my favorite men, Donovan Carrillo from Mexico. And while he has undeniable stage presence and star quality, Donovan always struggles with his jumps and the stability of them. Sadly, without that, Donovan is not going to make it far in skating. His short program, surprisingly, was not a disaster. It was actually workable and gave me hope that he could be in like the top 8 if he nailed his free program, but unfortunately that just didn't happen. Between the fall in his short and all the mistakes he made in his free, Donovan ended up in 12th place, which is last place. Like, his first jump in the free program didn't even take off. He didn't even pop it. He just slipped. His foot slipped on the ice and he just never left it. Like what is happening? And I know that he is probably still adjusting to training in the USA with a new coach, but we are running out of time for him to be able to adjust without it adversely affecting the rest of his skating career. I just really hope that Donovan can find a technique or a method or a mental strategy that helps him gain control over his jumps. Because right now, I don't see him excelling or even propelling or even plateauing. I actually see him regressing. And I would hate to see Donovan not participate at the big international competitions because he is such a star and you can tell that he loves skating. We just need to get him there. In third place, we have Kao Miura from Japan, who continues to be our edgy king with edgy music choices for his programs. And I also loved his short program costume. It was giving like futuristic villain vibes, and I loved it. He also had great, powerful, clean jumps and completely threw himself into the choreography for the short program, selling us on like the action movie concept. Then for his free, Kao took a softer approach and did a more melodic ballad, which is his other strength. He had a really strong start, but then had one wobbly landing. However, Kao pushed through, completing the free program completely clean. To be honest, Kao is like not my type of skater, but he's still very compelling to watch, and I am rooting for him to continue succeeding this season. In second place, we surprisingly have Kevin Amos from France, who usually has more in common with Donovan Carrillo because of his inconsistent consistency. However, he is always entertaining, and from the first 8 count, he had the crowd and me eating out of the palm of his hands. Kevin is truly the best performer in skating, period. Like, his movement is sharp, his stage presence is unparalleled, and his choreography is always unique. And it always hits. Like, I don't know if he choreographs himself, but he has a very unique style and it just runs through every single one of his programs. Which is why it hurts so much when he does inevitably fall apart in the technical side. However, here, he opened the short with a typical Kevin move, which was almost giving me a heart attack by almost falling, but unlike Kevin, saving it with the help of some higher power. Because I don't know how he saved that jump, but he did. And to my surprise, and probably the surprise of the audience, Kevin completed the short program like a true rock star with charisma at 1,000 and mistakes at 0. Kevin had 0 mistakes beside that one crazy jump in the beginning, but he basically did not fall at all. He had a technically clean program, and we could all now breathe easy. Also, this short program is the best men's program of the season. I'm calling it now. I don't care. And I love that he is also on trend with the Campy Fun program. And so now we're all preparing for the free skate because we know Kevin, and when he's good, he is great. So if he can replicate this energy for the free skate, then he is more than assured a spot on the podium. And thankfully, our thoughts and prayers were answered because Kevin executes a flawless free program. No falls, no fumbles, no tears, unless they are of joy. Because at this competition, he truly showed us what Kevin Amos can do when at his best, which we all know. He just has to believe it. He just has to do it. And at this competition, he made us all believe it, including himself. Because the reality is that Kevin Amos is one of the top skaters in the world. And I'm hoping that he can keep this momentum going and Kevin finally manages to have consistent showings throughout an entire season. So I'm rooting for you, Kevin. We are all rooting for you. Finally, in first place, we have the golden boy, Ilia Malinin, who changed his top for the short program, and I like it way better. It's like kind of metallic, kind of cool and futuristic. I don't know. It matches the vibe, it matches him, and I like it. He landed a first jump in the short, but once again in such an aggressive way that I'm starting to worry about his ankle. Also, his jump must have been a bit under-rotated because his blade landed at an angle and it made his whole body shake. And again, I am worried about his ankle. So please take care of yourselves. Besides that though, Ilia had a great short program. For his free, he had a strong start, but suddenly 2 jumps in, he pops a quad. And then his next jumps, he pops again and falls out of the landing. At this point, it feels like the mistakes are starting to snowball, but he quickly recovers, landing a combination jump, and Ilia seems to have gotten his groove back because he continues to land all the rest of the jumps, and he still does the crowd-pleasing backflip. Ilia ends the program with the crowd eating out of his palm, and in the end, even with all the mistakes, it was not enough to knock him off of first place. I'm very glad that Ilia kept the crowd-pleasing stunts like his unique jump and the backflip, and I'm wondering if at some point, some circumstances, maybe not doing so well, will make him remove them. But I hope that he doesn't, because even if he does badly, those moves do compel the crowd and possibly the judges through the energy of the crowd to score him higher. Also, it gets me excited that he might do a backflip at the Olympics, which I believe hasn't happened since Surya Bonelli, so that would be amazing and iconic to see, especially coming from an American skater. And yeah, that was Skate America and the Lombardia trophy, which were very, very fun to watch, especially after having such a stressful week and being able to talk to you guys again. I am still working on the not Emberlyn, oh my god, I can't get her out of my head. I'm still working on the Gracie Gold video. I promise you the script is finally complete. I just need to figure out if I need to edit some parts out of it. Like, it's gonna be a long video. It's gonna be, let's just say that. But still working on that, and I'm still trying to balance, the rest of my life. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, Twitter, merch, and Patreon are all down below, and all the links for the fan cams used are also in the description box. And let me know what you guys loved, didn't love, who was your favorite costume, everything. And I will talk to you guys later. Oh wait, and shout outs to Tori, V, Timothy, Natalia, Leslie, and Timothy? Hope I got that right. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye bye.